1. This will give it kind of like a little bit of a fluctuation in the in this. You just want to go slightly, just to kind of mess the particles up a little bit. I mean, you can go more. It's just going to really depend. But let's see, 0.3 looks pretty good. You know, you'll notice it more when we add the glow and all that stuff. You'll notice how better it looks. So you can tweak all that. Anything else? I don't think so. We're good there. Good there. Okay, now the motion blur. Go to your motion blur setting and expand it and change it from comp settings to on, and change your shutter angle all the way down first to start. Now we just want to turn it up just to where it starts blurring these last particles here. So just slowly go up right about there. You just want a slight blur on these last particles. Alright, so that gives it that nice stream flow. You know, you'll have a nice rough kind of fiery look, and then it kind of goes into the smoother, vapory, smoky look down here. Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to go and turn this into an add layer, and that'll give us that you know, the look when we go to add our glow. We're going to see what happens to it. So let's go ahead and right click on it, go to stylize, glow. Now for our glow settings, let's try it on the alpha channel, see how that looks. And we're going to go to A and B, make sure it says A and B colors. Do the same thing as we did on the eyes. It could be any color you want. Just be careful not too bright on the colors. Just, you know, you got to get that color according to how you like it. Okay, yellow for that one. That looks good. For the black, let's go with like maybe I guess a brighter red looks good. Okay, now that's that. Now we can go ahead and tweak our threshold, radius, and intensity to wherever you like. You can go with a higher threshold, which kind of gives you the particles here, and then they kind of like shoot off in like little shots, you know, little like, I don't know, it's kind of a cool look. I kind of like the look to where it's not a full fiery stream. You kind of got those random little fluctuations towards the end there. I just kind of like the way that looks. So that's basically it for that. And then you got the fire coming out, and that's basically all you got to do there. And, you know, if you want to tweak stuff, maybe add more particles, possibly make your stream a little bit thicker. You know, that's up to you. If you want to change the size, that's up to you. Basically, all those settings that I did, I would probably leave opacity over life the way it is, because that's fine. But, you know, you can try all different settings, the thicker end streams, and just to see what works for your taste, like that, you know. But I tend to like the thin stream. Alright, so that's basically it for that. We're pretty much good to go. You can try adjusting your A and B midpoint, maybe to bring more of the reds in. Alright, now what we want to do is add another thing to it, which would be under blur, channel blur, and then repeat edge pixels, just in case we hit the edges, and alpha blur. You want to turn that one up just enough to where it's the size of the rest of your eye, like that. And then it kind of gives it like an outside shell to everything. Let's go a little bit less. Maybe turn up the blur teeny bit on that so it's a little bit more smoother. Like that there. So now we have like an outer shell around it. Let's try brightening it up a little bit now that we did that. Bring back more of the yellows. Alright, that looks good. Okay, so that's our heat vision for the one eye. And of course, like I said, you can take your camera tool and rotate it in the position that you need to be in. If you get too close to the camera, straight on, you know, you're going to have to adjust your glow, of course. There's no way around that when you get to the camera. So we'll just set it right there for now. And we'll go on to the next step. Alright, our next step will be to adjust the particles timing when we want it to start. So let's open up down here in the timeline, effects, particular emitter, and we got to figure out when we want this to start. So we kind of don't want it to start yet. We want the eyes to get to their glow point, the big bright glow, and then fade out. And right when it starts to fade out, that's kind of when we want our glow to take effect. So we're going to set a keyframe here. So we got to make sure we do this keyframe first so we don't change our particle settings. Then we go back one keyframe and then change that one to 0. Just type it in, 0, enter, and this way our particles will start, you know, as eyes flame up, and then boom, shoots out the fire. Okay, so that's it for the heat vision. We're just going to leave it the way it is. And now all we got to do is pre-comp that. We have to do the null with it, or it's not going to work. We have to do all this here. So we can basically pre-comp. This was the eyes. Should be able to. Let's go ahead and pre-comp the whole thing. Got to do the camera too. So shift. We'll just get everything but the main footage underneath. Let's pre-comp that and see how that works. And turn this to an add layer. Good. Alright, so we're set there. And now the other thing we got to do is here. But you know what we'll probably do? I just don't like the idea of pre-comping my eyes with that, so we're just going to make another null object. Duplicate it, Control D to duplicate that. And let's go ahead and link. Make sure this one, we're going to link to this one. So make sure it's the right one, and this one. And for this one, we're going to link, make sure it's the bottom one. Okay, so this way we can just pre-comp the camera, the heat vision, and the null for it to its own comp. I just like the idea of doing that better. So we'll call this the vision, heat vision, because I already got it as set like that. Heat vision. Make sure we move all attributes. Okay, that's one, and we got to set that right back to add. Okay, now we can basically leave the eyes where they are, since it's already in its own comp. But actually, we got to turn it into a comp first, because this is another thing I want to do is show you how to displace it, but we have to turn it into a comp first. So let's go ahead and do that. That's what we got our other null, so we got to select a null, and we got to select our eyes, our eye comp, and go ahead and pre-comp that. Move all attributes. We'll call this our eyes comp. Click OK. Turn that back to a lighten comp. Hopefully we did everything right and everything's linked. Okay, good. It's just the previewing cuts off. Alright, we don't see our preview, our nice glow in our eyes until we let go of the preview thing. Okay, now we can go ahead and on our footage, let's turn this off, turn that off. On our footage, we're going to right click and we're going to go to distort, displacement, and we're going to select the heat vision first, change to luminance, wrap pixels around. Now we can just go ahead and just tweak this to where it just starts to affect the face. Look for areas that it's just going to affect. You don't want to go crazy with it, but you want it to show. So when it flows, it's kind of rippling, like giving that vapor look. See how it's rippling his skin? Just don't go crazy on it. Set it however you feel that you need it for the scene. And we're also going to make another one. Store displacement, and we're going to set it for our eyes. Set luminance, wrap pixels. Now the eyes, it's just a cool effect to be able to do this because it makes the eyes look like they're heated up, get a little glassy, like that watery look. It just gives them a kind of a cool 3D look.